And we're live, guys. Welcome back to Nerd to Know Media. How are things, guys? How you been?
Doing good. Another week of existing in quasi lockdown. So
Just another week in paradise. Yeah, I
not
think
much
And I'm
else.
back.
He's back.
he lives.
What a time to
Sarah,
come.
tell me, did you forget to plug in the LAN cable again?
No, I did not. No, I did not.
Oh.
Guys, seriously, I was hearing them like they're freaking out. I'm like, just keep going, just keep going. It's like, no.
No, we're vamping. We're vamping.
We're rapping.
Yeah.
It's all good. All right,
Yeah.
guys. So welcome to.
It's called filling the air.
So we are. I think it's like I think we're long overdue now to hit season 7 of The Simpsons.
Yes. So we're on Phoenix FM. Thank you everybody
Yeah.
for listening.
Yeah.
Of course, we are live on Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitter. nerdtoknowmedia.com is how you can reach us. And this is going to be all Simpsons all the time because no one else showed up for the show. And so we're just going to do it live, and we're going to go for...
And we're all so very
Hey,
tired.
Dara, quick question
Yes.
though. What episode number are we on for Nerd to Know?
We're on 73.
Yay!
Mm.
We're so close. We're so close.
And I
to
know that because we do show plans now.
Yeah.
Way so yeah, so that's why. And the thing about it is, the segment that I wanted to do where we go wildly off topic, we can't do because we have literally one thing on the show plan this week, which is episode
We
7.
have one aim.
We have one aim, so I'm not allowed to talk about the news that came out, but I'm going to do it anyway. So news came out that from Doomcock that it looks like Kathleen Kennedy is not only gone from Star Wars, but George Lucas is coming back.
Let him out
God.
of the room.
And I hope that's not a lie, because if it's a lie, I'll be very upset. But, think about it, guys. We can have George Lucas. So it breaks down as George Lucas being the head of Lucasfilm, Dave Filoni looking after movies, and then Favreau looking after TV for Disney Plus. That's the rumor. Take it or leave it, but I think it's true because Doomcock is always right.
So long as I get more Mandalorian, I'm happy enough.
Yeah, more Star Wars Rebels are things like Star Wars Rebels is always good.
Well, look, I'm not someone who hates on Kathleen Kennedy, but I think she just didn't know what Star Wars was. So it's like, hey, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's just give the toys back to George and let him fix it, and then.
Well, my feelings on this is that like my favorite things done in Star Wars, George Lucas was nowhere near. So, to me, this is the equivalent of hearing that Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff are taking over a wrestling show
Hold
again.
on a second.
So,
hold on a second. Listen, the thing about Lucas is, according to this, he wouldn't actually be making anything. He'd just be signing off on things, and Lucas always signed off on the EU stuff.
yeah,
So
okay,
that's
that's better.
That's kind of the thing, though. It seems like Lucas signed off on everything.
No,
Yeah.
not everything. Not everything. He didn't let changes to the original canon happen.
Yeah,
He didn't destroy the characters, which I would argue has kind of been done to a lot of them. But apparently, according to the deal, 1, Kathleen Kennedy is gone. 2, they're never allowed to touch the original movies ever again. 3, he's going to make his own sequel trilogy, which fair.
Okay.
And that's apparently the deal. So if that happens, and the reason why is because apparently the executives at Disney saw the Lucas cut, and they freaked out by how good it was compared to the movie that we got. So look, take it with a massive grain of salt.
Was this his cut or was it the one that his wife did?
Doesn't matter. Well, his ex-wife now, not his current.
His ex-wife, yeah.
But look, I would say I would tend to put some stock into this because Star Wars is a dead brand. As somebody who is literally surrounded by Star Wars memorabilia, it's a dead brand.
Entombed in Star Wars Star Wars memorabilia, you might say.
And it's just like it's one of those things that they haven't really got any other play at this point. So let's see what happens. But check out Doomcock Overlord DVD. Some people don't like him. I think he's great. He's never really been wrong. So do check that out. I'll leave a link in the chat because I won't leave it in the description below because I never do. So I'm going to pop it in the chat now for everybody, so they can watch it for themselves. But yeah, let's get to it. I'm being good, and I want to plug a show that went up a couple of minutes ago. Myself and Dave Stevens did the rewind today. We talked about Slammiversary, and it was Bryn, you'd love it. It was all TNA.
Yeah, I heard that it was like a classic. I heard about all the news that happened at TNA Slammiversary.
Yeah,
and it just, I mean, I saw people saw some negative criticism of it in the sense that they were going, well, like it's just a bunch of ex-WWE guys coming over again. And I'm like, yeah, but it, let TNA have fun.
Yeah,
it's had a rough life.
It had a rough life. It did have a rough life, and you know what? I had a really good time watching the show. And yeah, it was much better than the other wrestling show, the WWE show that we got, which was quite possibly one of the worst things I've ever seen in general.
Yeah,
ever.
So, again. I'm glad I pieced together, like I kind of pieced together WWE news, like Grandpa pieced together history
from back in sugar packets.
That's kind of how I'm doing it now, and I'm having a much better time. So
yeah, no,
I recommend doing that.
No, it's fair.
Not.
Sorry, Kev, for going off on the wrestling topic, but
just waiting for Simpsons.
Yeah,
but
I heard that Rey Mysterio got done like Lenny, and he got things in his eye that he wasn't supposed to. So
yeah, okay. So let's put this into context here, Kev. Right, there was a match on a mainstream wrestling show where the object was to literally pull out the eye of another person.
Yeah,
it's as bad as it sounds.
Like, okay, I know that Vince McMahon has no regard for safety. I still feel like that's against the rules.
No, and then they chickened out and they did it in the worst possible way, and then they shot a horror movie to finish it. It was not a good night. It was not a good experience.
Wait, was that the John Cena match?
No, the John Cena match was actually good.
Yeah, because I heard of it.
Hang on. No,
that first day of my bubble.
No, Dara, hang on a second. Can you repeat that again, please? I haven't heard this phrase in my entire time being around Dara. Can you say that again,
if we're talking about the match at WrestleMania with Bray Wyatt and John Cena, yes, it was very good. I loved it. Yeah,
it's just very rare that you like a John Cena match.
Well, that's because it was what it was. I will give credit where credit is due, and they knocked it out of the park. But yeah, if you guys want to check out that, it will be uploaded in the audio channel soon. But it's up now on Twitch, and it's also on YouTube, so do check it out. We have a lot of fun there. Right, Simpsons, lads.
Yeah. Straight in, no kissing.
Cool. Okay.
Straight in, no kissing, that's it.
I have no idea where you guys left off with Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 1.
Well, okay.
We liked it.
We liked it, Lisa
didn't. The two of us liked it.
Yeah, Lisa didn't. She hated it. So, yeah, that's where we left off.
Okay, I guess for context, I liked it too.
There we go. And I'm willing to bet that Lisa hates this too. So it's like, okay, fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think of the two parts, this is definitely the weaker section.
I don't know. This one has, it's just an extended Twin Peaks reference, and I love it. Now, I will say, before I saw Twin Peaks or knew what Twin Peaks was, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But as an adult,
if you take away the Twin Peaks reference, it's
very weak. Yeah,
it's not the best. Like, I mean, one of the better jokes that isn't the Twin Peaks reference in it is when they go and pull down the sun blocker, and they're like, "What town did we just crush?" And like, Shelbyville, yay!
But it's one of the points in The Simpsons where Shelbyville kind of moves around a bit, right? Because, like, Shelbyville is not supposed to be on a hill. It's supposed to be beside the lemon tree.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like...
Which was on top of a hill.
Yeah. So it's like...
Maybe... Apparently, Springfield and Shelbyville are surprisingly mountainous regions.
It's just... Yeah, and sometimes...
Well, there is a gorge. There is a gorge in Springfield, so...
Yeah, and also you can bribe city officials, as we learned in the ad for The Simpsons. Which is a misspelled Film Simpsons. Film Springfield.
Yeah.
So look, I will have to say, right? So I said this a few times that season 6 is probably my favorite season of The Simpsons. I would say that it probably still is. But season 7 does have a couple of my favorite episodes in it, and it would tie almost for the best episode of Simpsons. Almost the quintessential Simpsons episodes are here.
I think of this kind of golden streak of like seeds from about 5 through 8, 5 through 9. I think this is so far one of the weaker ones for me.
Dude, it has king size Homer in it.
That's the thing. And like I'm not saying that it's I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying in comparison to
if we're talking about like the golden period specifically.
Yeah. Like that's like in this stretch of seasons, I think so far this is the one where I haven't felt it as much. And this is considering I've already watched a couple of episodes of season 8, and I love those. Like the first 3 episodes of season 8 are some of my favorites.
Yeah, I'd be about the same. Where I think this season, starts off a lot stronger than it finishes, which is also a running trend in The Simpsons. It seems where it seems to start off a bit stronger than it finishes.
It's weird, right? So you like season 8. See, it's weird because I kind of confused season 8 and season 7 as well because I think they had the same writers. Yeah, so it's kind of like compared to season 6 where you have like a clear through line where it's like this feels. I think season 7 and season 8 are kind of like the same almost, but then season 9 happens and you start seeing the decline very quickly. Very
well,
quickly.
I think there's like a noticeable. There's a noticeable lack of sharpness once you get to season 9.
Yeah.
And I think the weaknesses of it show through a little bit this season and next season. But again, we are talking primarily about some of the best seasons of The Simpsons. So when we're bringing up negatives, they are primarily like the noteworthy negatives, and then the rest of it's pretty good or pretty strong.
It's rarely that when we're criticizing it, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's just that it's not as good as like the absolute. Because passing from Who Shot Mr. Burns to Radioactive Man.
Yeah,
that's a great episode. That's an incredible episode.
Yeah, like we're basically like going, well, this is an A-, not an A+.
Yeah,
like that's kind of a lot of what happens with these seasons. I think, Radioactive Man is stellar. It's so good from start to finish. It's my
favorite episode of The Simpsons. And the reason why is I think it's just, it wasn't initially, but I think it's just because, it's been quoted so much. And as I said, yourself, myself, we were extras, Bryn, for a long time. So, yourself, just there's so much stuff there that you're like, this is just true. This is just how it is.
Yep.
It's also funny how it's kind of been recontextualized now since the superhero blockbuster has become a big thing. Because back when this came out, like superhero movies were a bum rush.
There was one of those things where superhero films at the time were like it was kind of like a crapshoot. You didn't really know what you're going to get.
You didn't know what you're going to get. Yeah. So hold on, I just want to see superhero films.
Because this was like 97, 96.
Yeah.
96. So we're talking Batman Forever is kind of like the benchmark for that period.
So like,
well, hold on.
I'd say the highest. I'm going to say Blade 2 came out around that time.
No, Blade 2 was way later.
Blade 2
was
2000.
Yeah, 1998 was Blade 1.
Yeah.
So
all right. So I'm going to put this into context for you, right? So in 1990, I think 95
was Forever.
Right. 1999 was Batman Forever, Judge Dredd, and Darkman 2. Right. 1996 was The Phantom, Darkman 3, and Barbed Wire. 1997 was Steel, Spawn, and Turbo, a Power Rangers movie.
And Batman and Robin.
No, that was 1998.
No, it was 1997.
Really?
Yes.
Like, I'm way out of touch because this was about, like...
I moved to Cork in 97. I watched it in Cork. It was absolutely 97.
Okay,
I could have sworn...
You're right. It was.
I could have sworn Spawn was earlier.
And it was June too. I don't know why Google lied to me. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't take responsibility for that.
That seems... I'm talking about the quality of Spawn. Spawn seems like it should have been... That seems too late for Spawn.
Yeah, well, again, it really highlights how bad the effects in Spawn are, and how small the budget was.
But what I think about this is, right, I think what they were really trying to do here, they weren't talking about they weren't talking about movies of that time period, because obviously, literally, the movie that they didn't want to make in Radioactive Man, they made a year later in Batman and Robin. We want to stay,
basically.
but we want to stay as far away from the campy 60s version or 70s version. And then they literally made the campy 60s version of Batman. So I think this was, they were trying to recontextualize it as contextualize it at the time as a play on what the original Batman was with, what's your man's face?
Michael Keaton.
You know,
Adam West.
Who directed it?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, thank you. Well, Tim Burton did. And that's kind of the vibe you get off them, you know, where Homer's little diatribe, didn't you direct this? Oh, that sucked. They only saw it to get margin in the sack. You know, it's loads of those little barbs that you can see how resistant they were to superhero movies. But what's interesting about it is there is a really good series that comes out, an episode that comes out in a later series. Homer loses a lot of weight to play Everyman.
Oh yeah,
and it's a comic book, and Seth Rogen's in it and stuff like that. It's actually really good, and it is kind of like the sequel to this episode, placed in modern day after the superhero boom. So I would really recommend that if you haven't actually seen that one.
See, the one, just like one kind of note is with the acid spill scene, goggles, they do nothing. I don't know why the connection was made in my brain, but I got reminded of the whole thing that happened during the Dark Knight filming where they flipped the truck and the IMAX camera smashed.
Oh yeah.
I just find it funny how, like, you know, so many years apart, there's just a link like that.
Yeah,
that's a connection for me.
Yeah, I think that's just one of those things where, like, because I think they were like that, like it was really getting to that point at those kind of films where they were really testing the limits of how expensive they could make individual scenes. Because like this was around the time of this, there was also like a ton of disaster movies coming out. Like we had
Dante's Peak,
Deep
Impact was the same movie, Volcano.
Yeah, there was Deep Impact was the Comet.
The Comet.
But you're thinking of Volcano. There was Volcano and Dante's Peak came out at the same time. Armageddon and Deep Impact were.
Armageddon. Who was in that?
That was
Bruce
the one
Willis.
With Bruce Willis and the Aerosmith song.
Yeah, that's the one. You're right. Yeah. I don't know, man. Disaster movies were a weird thing in the 90s, which I'm glad we don't do anymore.
Yeah, don't do anymore.
The
Rock keeps doing them.
Hold on a minute. Yeah. That's The Rock. That's just The Rock making The Rock movies. It's not like anyone goes to see them. Now, I went to go see Skyscraper and had a great time, but still, you know, it's only him that does them. It's just him, just there doing things in China for some reason.
Yeah, you got to appeal to the market.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's why.
The only market that the Western corporations seem to care about.
Yeah.
But anyway,
what human rights violations?
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of human rights violations, let's talk about Home Sweet Home Dumb Diddly Doodly.
This one has such a slow burn. Has one of the slowest burns ever, and then when it kicks in, it just gets hilarious until the end of it. I don't like the ending of it, and I know Lisa's screaming at her radio going, "But it's so sweet," and I'm like, that's why I hate it. So I just don't like it. My black heart just doesn't like it.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, it does have one of the best Homer moments in the entire season, where he's going to find Flanders. I have to think like Flanders. I'm a big four-eyed lame-o, and I wear the same stupid sweater every day. The Springfield River, like, it's just so great.
It's one that's kind of like, that's for me sits in the 90s because the idea of not being Christian was so strange to people that they just like they had to make a big thing. It's like, no, you have to be baptized. And it's just funny to kind of think back on that now when it's not a big thing.
Yeah, well,
unless you're really in the Christian spheres.
Yeah, well, it's increasingly going that way now that like people don't seem to care about it as much, even though like, I mean, we still live in a country where, you know, depending on where you live, you have to get your kid baptized to let them go to school. So, you know, like
it's getting there, but like it's not so societally kind of prevalent.
Yeah, it's
culturally prevalent, societally still kind of there.
Yeah, like our secularism is like Irish Rail. It's not there yet, but it's getting there. Like,
but nobody's trying. But yeah,
pretty
like
much.
overall, like it's not one of my favorites. It's got some pretty good moments.
Yeah.
Like was it this one? I'm getting mixed up now. Where it could have been another Flanders one, but so yeah, where it's the Todd and Rod singing, bringing in the sheaves. Was that one, or was that the one where Bart was a kid?
I think that's the one where Bart was the kid. In this one,
Okay.
they had like their own little newspaper press, and and
Breaking news:
Bart,
Todd stinks. Oh God, I knew that already.
do you have a reliable source for this? So
Like,
good.
okay, it's all right. I like. There's
Yeah.
other there is other much better episodes
yeah.
in it.
Like,
following straight on to Bart Tells the Soul.
Yeah, and Bart Tells. See, the thing is, like, I'm not a big fan of Bart Tells the Soul. It has brilliant moments in it, but it's not an episode I relish watching all that much. Like, I love in the Garden La Vida bit at the beginning.
It's
so good.
Sorry, guys. I had to get my. I was too far away from my copy of the Fountainhead. I had to bring it back.
That's fine. That's fine.
Gotta keep it close to your
Gotta
heart.
keep it close. Gotta keep it close.
But you know, like, I love how it opens up with going, and now we're going to sing the hymn "In the Garden of Eden" by Iron Butterfly. But like,
I didn't get that as a kid, and then my dad explained it to me.
Oh
I'm
God,
like,
no.
Okay.
yeah.
No,
Like,
I didn't know 20-minute 70s prog songs when I was
No.
10.
Exactly. It's just my dad loves stuff from the 70s, so
Yeah.
he was more than happy to explain it to me. But this is kind of stuff, you know, where you watch it as a kid, and then there's so much to unpack. I think this is why this era of The Simpsons is so good, because you can watch it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, and still find something that you're like, oh, I never noticed that before.
Yeah, like I was just saying there, like, this is one of the episodes I'm not crazy about from this season, but I would say, like, even saying that, like, there are a couple of bits that I do love from it. Like, I love the Iron Butterfly bit. I love he's back in Pog form.
See, here's the thing. What I will say about season 7, right? While I do agree, it's not the strongest one, but it's the one that was played ad nauseum on TV when you're growing up, which is why when you go to Rock Bottom, Irish Simpsons fans, or any of the other ones, they will quote mainly from season 7. All the memes come from season 7 because they love themselves from season 7.
Yeah, and I mean, there's not a huge amount in this episode that I'm crazy about. But are there any other moments you guys can think of that you enjoyed?
I don't know, the little bit of the automatic door not opening, that tickles me. That's...
Yeah. The bit
bike,
where it's like
the bike, for me, you know, where it's like he's running after and the bike runs over him and it sees somehow fine, and then it falls apart and he laughs and it goes down through the thing. It's like, it's amazing. It's so good.
Or even just him eating the piece of paper. It's like, nah, Bart, I think a soul is just something that you have, and you just have to believe that you have it. And he's like, yeah.
Well, to be fair, you know, I remember that bit always stuck with me as a kid. I'm like, is that how it's done? And I still have never got an answer for it. So guys, let us know.
It's it's literally not. It's not how it's done.
Well, here's the thing. It's like I think with Lisa, they are kind of telling you, hey, look, it's just, and he's just like, no. It's like, okay, whatever. Yeah. Let's see what Ayn Rand has to say about the song.
Whatever. Ayn Rand has to say whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I just remember another moment that I love from it where he's going looking for Millhouse, and the guy comes out with the big visor on, and he's just like, the one you call Millhouse is gone.
Well, it's weird. Is that the first appearance of the Hey Pally guy? Because I think it is.
I think I don't think it is, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is.
Yeah, because it just seems like it was a throwaway thing.
Probably as a speaking role. He could have been a background character, like background design for a while. Yeah.
Because we haven't got to. Did we get to the Stonecutters? Have we done the Stonecutters?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been last season.
Yeah. And I was thinking that guy would have been. The mechanic was kind of like the prototype of that character, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was his first appearance of that.
Yeah.
Lisa the vegetarian. What do we think?
Good story, less good jokes. It's kind of
those have two of the most classic Simpsons moments, though. To be fair, Kev, go for it.
I was going to say, very good message at the end of you can have your own beliefs, just don't try to push them onto other people.
Yeah.
And yeah, but pretty joke light, except for the Paul McCartney stuff.
Literally,
I
objectivism.
only got that recently. That's very funny.
Yeah, literally, that's the whole thing of objectivism.
The Hindi, the Hindi Sergeant Pepper cover gets me every time.
Yeah,
it's weird. I love it. It's weird the way this episode is structured, right? Because you have a really strong A plot. There's not really a B plot in this one, except for the clone where he tries to freeze himself.
Oh yeah.
But that with Jasper tries to freeze himself. But that's it.
Yeah.
Like, this is like one of the first time, and because even like the C plot, which would be the barbecue, it still ties into Lisa's overall journey to this. So
Bart, no! I'm right here, Mom.
I mean, Lisa, no.
It has that great Mr. Burns moment where he's like, "I think I'll give money to the children's hospital
When
when pigs fly."
I think I'd keep on to the money. It's like, no, I obviously it has the Billy, don't kid yourself, Billy. If a cow could eat you, it would. And then it has it's just a little airport, and it's still good. It's still good. It's gone, Dad. That whole sequence alone justifies this episode in the pantheon of the Simpsons.
I love the diagram they have for the food chain, where it's just every animal attacks humans. That's like every animal attacks humans.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Treehouse of Horror.
Yeah.
This one sticks with me because my dad was a big fan of this one, so he just loved it and he used to like cut bits of it for our show. So
it's the surrealism of the 3D Homer that just has implanted its way in my brain.
Yeah, it's one of the most, like, even though it's a weak segment, it's still very memorable because it has one of the weirdest endings because it's like he's in the real world.
Although in rewatch, it has probably one of my favorite jokes, at least in that episode, of like, man, it looks like you're just, oh god, what was it? It was something about how expensive the scene was.
I
can't remember the exact wording.
I think it was something like, it's like I feel like I'm spending $1 a minute just standing here, something like that.
Well,
it was a crazy expensive thing to do at the time.
Well, here's some trivia on that, right? An edited version of Homer Cubed would appear along several other shorts in the 2000 American 3D animated anthology film Cyberworld, which is shown in the IMAX and IMAX 3D. So this was a thing that they actually did. Basically, Flig shows the audience Cyberworld, a futuristic museum of infinite possibilities.
Who the hell is Flig?
I don't know. That's what the character is. But here's what the segments were, right? So basically, it would set up where it would 3 computer bugs buzzed, wire, and frazzled create a black hole, which is similar to the plot of Homer Cubed, and it would open up to different segments, right? So here's the segments that were included in this movie: the dance sequence from Ants, the animated feature, which nobody remembers.
Yeah. The
CG parts from Homer Cubed. The music video Liberation from the Pet Shop Boys.
Oh wow.
Monkey Brain Sushi, a short film created by Sony. Kragan, Adventures of the Future Ocean, a short film created by Ex Machina. Joe Fly, a short film created by Spans and Partner. Flipbook and Water City Fall, a short film created by Shayushi Karigi. Sorry, terrible Japanese. And Tonight's Performance, a short film created by Res 8. So I don't know what any of that is, but
it just sounds like a portfolio.
Yeah.
But this was a thing that was shot, so while it was expensive, they probably made their money back. So fair play.
Yeah.
Apparently it wasn't very good. It only got 55 out of Rotten Tomatoes, so I wouldn't recommend watching it, guys.
It's probably one of these things where they just kind of show off the new 3D technology.
Yeah, it looks like
it's kind of like a tech demo.
Yeah, or a tech demo or a scissor reel kind of combined together.
Like when it sounds like the most expensive and well edited sequence in it is the dance scene from Ants. It's not a great look.
No,
it's not a great look. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But this series, this Treehouse of Horror starts off with probably one of the best ones, The Nightmare on Elm Street. parody, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's so good, so good. The actual Homer Cubed was inspired by a Twilight Zone episode. Surprise, surprise. And then what was the second segment?
The big mascots come to life.
Yeah.
Which again, great. It was pretty great. The best part for me was they stop moving when you stop paying ads attention.
Yeah, I love that. And then getting Paul Anka to come in and do a song at the end.
Again, I didn't know who Paul Anka was, so that was fun for me as an adult to kind of figure that out.
I still have no idea who Paul Anka is.
He's pretty much like a famous hype band singer.
I kind of picked up on it. I just have no frame of reference.
But here's the thing: when he guest starred himself, right, he'd actually wrote a letter of appreciation for being mentioned in an earlier episode of Simpsons. So that's why they brought him in, because they're like, "Oh, cool, come on in, man." You know.
I guess you'll like this.
Yeah, you'll like this. You'll enjoy this. So that's why he got on it. So there you go. Next one, lads. One of my favorite episodes of Simpsons: King Size Homer.
That's Raspberry.
Which is surprisingly relevant in this virus world. Where everyone works from home, mostly.
Yeah.
I
wonder if you could still. Wonder if they sold out of those tipping birds.
You know what? Would be really handy. Would be really handy. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. Somebody give me a tab.
Where's my tab? The any key. Where's the any key?
To be fair though, it's when you work in IT, it's scary how real that is.
Oh, like back in college, that was just a regular running joke.
Yeah, and now I have to deal with the customer saying that to me.
Same. It happens. How do I turn the computer on? Oh Jesus! Fun times.
What's your job title again? Security engineer. Oh dear.
Head of security. Oh Jesus. Good times. But look, I love this one. I think this one has aged extremely well, because it's weird. Even though it's 25 years ago, it's still so relevant. It's so on point. The only thing that takes away from it is, if this happened now, Homer could just ring the plant and go, "Hey," ring the cell phone. I know he rings the plant and no one answers, but everyone has their cell phone on them, so that was it. But that's the only thing. And obviously, the workstation you use, and to be fair, it looks like a pretty nice Unix terminal. But I'd love that, to be fair.
It's just running XP. It's chill.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think like what I kind of like about it, it's making jokes about obesity while not poking fun at obesity.
It's not punching down.
It doesn't seem like it's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, because I think one of the things that helps it is that, like, at no point does it actually like characters make fun of Homer for being obese, but at no point are you joining in on it. Like, you're going like
in the frame of them. Fair. In the frame of them kind of criticizing Homer, it's because he is literally gaining about 100 pounds, specifically to take advantage of disability.
The way it's framed is, this whole thing is wrong.
Yeah.
Homer has cheated the system, and the universe is punishing him for it.
Yeah.
So that's the way I always saw it. I wasn't like, "Oh, hey, look, he's obese because of whatever." He purposely did this so he could stay at home, and he was helped by an unscrupulous doctor and Dr. Nick, which is phenomenal. And by the way, thanks to this episode, I learned that if you rub something on it and it goes clear, that's how you know. So this is building up my background as to why I trusted the Simpsons for so long.
I'll never forget my biology teacher in secondary school actually doing it and going, "No, the Simpsons was right about this."
See, that's the thing.
Go see.
That's the thing. They actually set up things that you would follow. So when Mark Hamill shows up and starts singing "Guys and Dolls," and I thought that was in the thing, and then I ended up in "Guys and Dolls,"
feel
and it wasn't there.
To.
I was lied to. So it's like
Yeah.
But very good. I love this episode. I think it's great. The best one is, that's Raspberry. as in your background.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. My dad isn't some crazed food maniac. He's like, just drives by.
Hey, you're going to have to help me have a big fat guy.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. Take whatever you want. Everyone's got to die. Got to be really best. It's fantastic.
Everyone's going to be in trouble, especially me.
Also, a good line that we used to say a lot as kids and teenagers and adults was, oh no, Paul Newman's going to have my legs broke. Again, at the time, we didn't know who Paul Newman was, but it's funnier now that you do know who it is. Like, it would just be like, I'll never forget the context. We were in school and someone would drop a pen or whatever and be like, oh no, Paul Newman's going to have my legs broke. It was just fantastic, and we'd just be crying in the back. It was literally random Simpsons references from around this period and Yu-Gi-Oh jokes. That's how cool we were in 6th year, guys. So,
fascinating.
Oh, like any 6th year is cool.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah.
And then there's Mother Simpson, which is...
I like it.
I really like Mother Simpson. Really like it.
I like bits of it.
Yeah.
I like bits of it. I like the setup. I like the conceit. I like the discovery. I think if this had been the only one, I would like it a lot more, but they go back to it again and again, and it gets worse and worse and worse. So I think this suffers from overexposure and being watered down in later seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not quite as laugh a minute as most of the other episodes, like in this season, but I think it fleshes out the world and the characters and the context enough that I think it makes up for it.
And I love when Grandpa is like telling her off, and he's he's just going like, "You left me to raise the boy alone, and I will never ever forgive you."
Can we have sex?
Can we have sex, please?
No, my favorite one is it's in the same sequence where Mona sees Abe for the first time, and she's just like, "Wow, Abe, you've aged terribly." It feels so real. That's what I like about it. It's like these are actual people. They're not characters. You know what I mean? And that's what I like about it.
I think this has probably got some of my favorite Grandpa Simpsons moments.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, like it's that when he's trying to stall the agents from tracking down Mona. And he's like, wait, I am the limber baby. Where? I want my fly, Dada.
Again, I didn't know who the limber baby was. Funnier after I found out that was a thing.
Definitely worth a rewatch.
Yeah.
Also funnier when I understood what they were saying when they went like, it's like, are you trying to stall us or are you just senile? He's like, well, I love him column A, I love him column B.
Also, when you play, Fight of the Valkyries to come in as Waterloo, it's just fantastic. It's so good. Because the Flight of the Valkyries is 100% what Burns would play in a tank. Because why not? But then
Smithers would tape over it with fucking ABBA.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's just brilliant.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's brilliant. It all works.
I think my favorite joke in it is Chief Wakem's asthma. That's it.
Listen to me breathe. Next one is Sideshow Bob's Last Gleaming. So this was the one where they have the air show. Favorite bit in it is when they're actually watching Sideshow Bob sets up that they're going to play Rock You Like a Hurricane, and they do, and it's just hilarious. Yeah. But then the fact that it's like, really like kite music, and Margie's like, why did he have to play that rock music so loud and it flies through her hair?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Side note, have you ever actually tried to listen to the lyrics of Rock You Like a Hurricane?
Yes.
It is nonsense.
Of course it is.
It is nonsensical jargon.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If like Rock You Like a Hurricane, if that doesn't tell you that it's going to be nonsensical,
it's even by the standards of what you'd expect from 80s rock.
It's like Cherry Pie. They wrote it on the back of a pizza box in 10 minutes.
Hey, at least Cherry Pie gets a message across. A bad message, but a message.
Well, Final Countdown. Like, absolute gibberish, and nobody knows the lyrics, except for the chorus. So, there you go. It just was what it was. Okay, hold on. We just got a chat here from Cause Dudes Films Reacts. Hi dudes, how's the stream going? Very well. What do you think about The Simpsons? Did you like season 7? Because that's what we're talking
Thumbs
about.
up.
Yeah.
Thumbs down.
No, exactly.
I think overall Sideshow Bob's Last Gleaming is a pretty good episode. I think out of the first bunch of the early bunch of Sideshow Bob episodes, it probably was my least favorite. But it still definitely has its moments, like when he speaks in helium.
Yeah.
Soon the world will tremble.
But what's funny about that is, it's like you don't really notice it the first watch, and then when you go back, you're like, oh wow, that was really clever. He was speaking with helium.
Yeah,
very good. Excellent writing.
I do like the kind of the mind games of him playing with the Admiral and just kind of learning that. Again, it's funny to see how his brain ticks as he learns the names and writes them down and then jumps out the window and then goes and dupes the officers with the exact insults that Southern lieutenant had.
I love how he stammered as well as he was trying to repeat them because he found them so distasteful.
It's like, well, I'll rip you up like a Kleenex in a snot party. It's brilliant. It's so good. But what's
like
great,
he's easily the best part. He's always the best part of his episodes. Like,
totally.
It just shows you how intelligent he is and how much work he puts into his schemes. You know, it's brilliant. The next episode is where we start seeing a bit of drop, and it's the 138 episode spectacular.
Yeah. So I like
bits of this, but also I don't. What do you guys think?
This is a weird thing for me where there's a few episodes like this that I have a soft spot for, even if I wouldn't say they're my favorites. There's just something about them I really, really like. I like this idea of like them having like the Simpsons as a TV show within a TV show, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I like when they did this with the spin-off Showcase, and they did Behind the Laughter documentary as well. I love
Behind the Laughter.
Yeah.
And I love this. This is a lot better than the other two clip shows, which just weren't very good. At least they tried to do something different here.
See, it's weird because this isn't really a clip show because it's all new stuff.
New stuff, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Cosdu's Films React chimed in here with What the Flip. What did we say? How did we upset you? Let us know what you think.
Overall, I think the episode has like, it's nice seeing some outtakes. It's annoying that some of those outtakes are now in my head as being part of the actual episodes.
Yeah,
especially the one with Lionel Hutz going, "Well, we lost," and they go like, "No, we won." Okay, that's okay. The box is empty, and now, like for me, that's always like I always go like, "Oh yeah, that's a deleted scene. That's not even in the thing. That's a bit shit."
My favorite one is the robotic Richard Simmons.
Yeah,
shake
absolutely.
your bit. Yeah, so good,
so great.
He's not angry. He's exotic.
Oh,
fair enough.
Okay. There was hang on. There was also excited. Like them doing. Okay, yeah. Excited. There was also the alternate takes for who had shot Mr. Burns, even with the fake Waylon Smithers bit.
Who is it that has the little machine gun? Is that Apu?
I thought it was Mo.
Oh, it's one. That was just like, I wish that was actually it. That would have been great.
Yeah. I also love the little ad break where Troy McClure goes off to the side of the set and starts immediately lighting up a cigarette.
Yeah.
They get this season, and it comes back later on in the episode count, but they do really give Troy McClure a lot of screen time this season.
They do.
Yeah.
This one and the next season has the most Troy McClure, which is not a bad thing because I think he dies around season 9.
Yeah.
So enjoy him while he's there, guys. It's kind of sad. Well, no, it's not kind of extremely sad. But it just is what it is, I suppose. Okay, moving on here. And thanks for sticking with us there, Cosdude Films Reacts. We appreciate it. Marge Be Not Proud. I forget this one is here. I always think this one is way earlier because it feels like an earlier episode of Simpsons. Not one of my favourite ones growing up, but I started to appreciate it more and more as I grew up.
Yeah, I think it's also like that the really good jokes in this shine through. Yeah. They have like real staying power, like Milhouse entering his name.
Trillho.
Yeah.
This is the greatest game I've ever seen on the start screen.
Bone Storm is just fantastic. I this is really of its time because this came out in 1995, so Mortal Kombat was all the thing all the time, and it really does kind of capture that feel like your man is literally Liu Kang, like, and then the two people fighting are Goro clones. So it's a bit of fun. I think this is Simpsons using pop culture to in the right way, right, to kind of say something about the way things are going. But
I think it also has that like insanely spoiled kid who's like, I'm gonna spend time with one of my dads, and you're
he comes back though. He's in this and in the next season a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in it a lot. Yeah, it's weird, like, because I've never seen him again.
No, he's like a 2-season background character, and then never seen nor heard of again.
He didn't hit the numbers in the popularity polls. I don't know what to tell you.
No, he wasn't like Roy, that's for sure.
Team Homer is next.
Yeah, great episode. So good.
Very, very good.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Just again, we brought it up about 6 times on this show, but there we go. There's the home wreckers.
Hold on. So we're after getting a question here. Why aren't we wearing masks on the stream? Because we're inside.
Yes.
I'm in my house.
Yes, we don't need to wear masks inside. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I can hear us. So
I'm in a room by myself.
Yeah, me too. So
I paid for this microphone. I can lick it if I want to.
Yeah.
So thanks for the concern. But Team Homer is one of the quintessential Simpsons episodes, right? It's like the jokes in this are really, really good from start to finish. What is your favorite point in this episode?
Oh, you know what? I think it's probably when Otto finally gets that Harvard diploma.
You know, when I was younger,
the crawfish whistle.
I used to think that you could actually get stuff like that, and then when I found out you couldn't, very disappointed.
No, for me, it's when Homer's telling Marge about it, and you know, I made the chant, and then Otto rolled the roller, and then Marge is like, "Wow, I can't believe Otto rolled
he got a 7-10 split. That's the hardest shot.
7-10 split.
Yeah, but Rich, you're not understanding. It's a team effort, and I was the one who made this chant.
I love at the end of it where they're one, the team names are great. The Homewreckers, the Holy Rollers, and stuff like that.
What were the cops called again?
I can't remember.
That has a great Snake moment actually, where he's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and just escapes. So good.
Yeah. So what I'd say is with this, it's just one of those must-watch episodes. You really have to just check it out. Like,
speaking of must-watch episodes, Two Bad Neighbors.
Yes.
So good. One of the best, one of the best guest character episodes they've done.
It's one that when you it has the best start ever, where they're doing the hey big spender, it's fantastic, and I forget that's there. So every time it shows up, I absolutely just love it. It's so funny.
Yeah, the Ayatollah joke hit way harder than I thought it was going to. I had no idea what an Ayatollah was when I was 10.
Well, that's true. Yeah. It's of its time, and it's like when you think about it, this was 1996.
Yeah,
like that stuff was 5 years, so it would have been in the culture zeitgeist. But by the time we were watching it, it was 10, 15 years away. What I will say is, in the chat, we did a whole thing on it, Pooh. So check out the rest of our videos where we break it down. I think we did 2 shows ago. So check it out. There was
the as well as that, I love the way Skinner's going well, what's this? It's like, this is a motorized tie rack. Like, it's a bit loud, and she's like, okay, well, if you can just take out the motor. It's like, but then they're just static and they don't have any motion at all.
And it's really difficult to get the ties in the back.
But then he buys it and comes back and gets the motor.
And he gets the motor separate. It's so good.
Oh man, it's such a good episode.
But all the bush section, just I love it to bits. Just real
Dennis the Menace.
Dennis the Menace bars.
Yeah,
and not American Dennis the Menace, British Dennis the Sorry, not British Dennis the Menace, the American Dennis the Menace. Which, believe it or not, that's a story in of itself. But they were created at the exact same time.
Yeah, they were published on the same date.
It's weird. That's why they exist. They're completely it's a weird story. We'll actually might do a special on that at some point.
It's like what's that? There's a form of dissonance where that can be caused. I remember reading about it before, but basically it's the height of parallel thinking. Yeah. Where, but
it's kind of the same time that The Raid and Judge Dredd came out, and they were made at the same time.
We were talking about it earlier, but it's like Armageddon and Deep Impact having basically the same plot releasing in the same year.
It's like that cultural zeitgeist thing, where it was, for example, 2005 to 2010, all the music videos were in warehouses and guys tied to chairs.
Yep.
And they're all made at the same time, so I don't know. It was just weird. Guys, we're getting to the end of the show, I think. So we have another.
Yeah, we're only about halfway through this season.
Yeah,
so
we only have another 15 minutes, so we are going to have to call this at some point because there's a lot to get through. So stick with
this is
us.
a lot, even by like these kind of 20. Like this is a lot. It's a 25 episode season. It is long by this standards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we whatever we don't get to, we'll wrap up and we'll finish. We'll finish after that. But the next episode is scenes from the class struggle in Springfield. One of the best, most cutting episodes of The Simpsons because it really tackles what I think is an important issue still in society, which is that kind of classist thing.
Until watching it in this season, I don't think I've ever seen this one before.
Really?
Oh, really?
This one was on all the time.
Yeah.
I have no memory of this when I watched it because it did not register for me when I rewatched it.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Like
I remember
it's the first time since we've started this whole thing where I've watched an episode and I'm like, I do not remember this at all.
Weird.
I remember seeing it and not really liking it that much, and then rewatching it was like, wow, this is a lot more biting than I remember it being.
Like as kids, the idea of class struggles doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't register to you.
Yeah.
Well, that's because the majority of the people watching The Simpsons would either relate or be in the same sphere as The Simpsons, who would be upper middle class. So when you're seeing like the super rich as they live, it's a whole new way. Because the only super rich person you really see in The Simpsons is Mr. Burns. So
unequivocally evil.
Yeah, exactly. So you're kind of seeing how people who aren't evil but they're just kind of that detachment is what I think is the best thing of it. Like where your woman can't even make soup, like she sets the whole place on fire and stuff like that. It's or I order my steaks from Vermont. And it's just like, what are you talking about?
I absolutely love seeing Lisa have to struggle with the idea of going that like she understands that like there's a lot of classism surrounded by it, but it also has horses. Yeah, and she can't handle hating and loving the place simultaneously.
Yeah,
they just the one with the short black hair. It's as if they just pulled. I'm completely blanking on the names, but just the secondary, the one Nick dates in The Great Gatsby, just out of the page and just puts it into a Simpsons.
Yeah, basically.
Daisy, I cannot remember her name. It's I totally spent 2 years studying this. It's gone.
And look, I think that's what they were trying to do. They were really trying to build up this archetype. Because the thing the Simpsons do, and we've said this many times, is they will take shorthand. And if there's already those archetypal characters in fiction that they can just use, that's what they're going for. But this is like one of the least lazy, which is why this is so good. They could have just went and betrayed them all as like evil sociopaths and whatever. They don't. Like your one in the who wants Marge to join actually wants her to join. She's actually her friend. But and at the end of it, they actually wanted to welcome in. So
that's kind of the twist.
Yeah, what I like about it is it's like so the whole time it's like these people are. Bad, but then you realize, no, you were judging them just as much as you perceived them to judge you. And I think that's a really important message because this is still something that resonates today. As I said, classism is still a thing, and being able to see both sides, how the other side live, as it were, is important. So, it's
absolutely,
it's really good.
It's I think it's one of those ones where it's like it's definitely aged better over time.
Definitely.
For sure,
definitely.
Which I'm not wouldn't be so confident about saying that about Bart the Fink.
Well, listen. Bart the Fink is important because, ladies and gentlemen, taxation is theft.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay, Ron Swanson.
But there's bits in it that have I thought this whole setup is good. The middle part is good. The end of it's kind of lame, but I really like the whole kind of clip show where they go through his life, and I love the auction. The auction is phenomenal, but I agree.
Selling his mountains and Mount support autography for 50 cents.
It was sold for $1. Oh, my pornography.
I actually know. I love this episode from back to front.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like, even oh god, the little dancing Krusty Herman.
I'll be dancing for hours.
Not a quarter.
So look, guys, we are going to wrap it there. The next episode is Lisa the Iconoclast, which is super fun. That one I really like, but we will have to get into that next week here on the show. Thanks for everyone who joined us live. Guys, before we get out of here, is there anything you want to plug, Bryn?
Yo, so Tech Takeover is coming. I've got the theme finished finally.
I heard it. Really good. I heard the theme.
And I'm trying to work on logos. I've made a few. I hate all of them, so it's gonna just take another. I'm gonna try and get the logo done, and then I'll have a pilot ready to release probably 2 weeks from now. But I'll keep you posted on that next week.
Excellent. So, and Kev, you have a show coming up this week?
Yes, next week. No, couple of weeks. Recording this week. Anyway, new episode of Anime Crash Course is in the works. I just finished. This month's episode is going to be on The Promised Neverland. Nice kind of suspense thriller show. Fantastic. I finished watching it today. It's brilliant. The episode should go out on the bank holiday Monday.
Who's going to be on it?
Oh.
That's a good question. It should. It's looking like it's going to be myself, Key, and Lisa and Keith.
Great. Okay, cool. Yeah, like I have to say, I look any shows that you guys have done together, I've really enjoyed. So if you haven't checked it out, do. I, personally, as someone who thought they were an anime fan until they met real anime fans, it's like, wow, okay, it's a whole new world. So,
oh god, they're speaking a different language and it's not even Japanese.
I never forget the experience where I'm like, I always thought I knew what anime was, and then I met my friend Carrie, and I was like, oh wow, okay, all the anime in the world, and then you start going to conventions and stuff, and you're like, okay, yeah.
My depth.
Yeah.
I still remember the first time I went to Articon, where I went, I know my anime, and I went, I know 5 costumes.
I've watched Digimon? Question
mark. Yeah, like that's it. It's one of those things where that's what I love about nerd culture in general. Actually, even with cons, it's one thing I started to miss this week. That atmosphere, because Jenny Nicholson did a video. Where she was like, I'm not a brony, but
it hits into the con scene.
It does. The way she describes it, I'm like, wow, yeah, that's actually very much what like Comic Cons are like and stuff like that. It's really good for anyone who. Well, Jenny Nicholson's fantastic, but anyone who kind of misses cons, watch it and you'll be like, oh yeah, But we're getting there. We're getting back. There's apparently another con happening online, so we'll keep you updated with that. But we don't know what's going on yet. If you want to book us for panels, let us know. We're able to. But thank you for everyone who joined us live in the chat, of course. And also, if you're listening on Phoenix 92.5 FM, thank you so much. Remember, you can email us, nerdtoknowmedia@gmail.com. Like our Facebook. We're on Spotify, Twitter, all that good stuff. And of course, we're live every single Wednesday, 9 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And we will talk to you next week, guys. Bye.
Bye. See you later.